It's really nice to have visitors like you who appreciate my indoor plants. But there is one visitor that I really don't like, and that is the fungus gnat. You'll first notice these uninvited guests when they arrive in their adult form. They're tiny, they're about 3 millimetres big. They're black mosquito-like flies. They hover in small groups just above your indoor plants. While the adults may be flying around, they're only annoying. They're not doing much damage. It's beneath the potting mix surface that the damage is happening with the larvae. They live under there, they chomp away at the plant roots, they even get into the stems of the plants, and they have got an insatiable appetite. How do these little critters even get into our home? Well, it's through no fault of our own. They can come in on newly purchased indoor plants or even in a bag of potting mix. So it's worth checking when you're in the nursery. All you need to do is look at the potting mix of the indoor plant, just turn it around a little bit, and if you see little tiny maggot-like larvae, give that plant a miss. You mightn't have noticed any little flying critters or any larvae in the soil, but you just might want to check to be doubly sure. And there's such a simple way of doing it. A good old potato, raw, and a slice of potato, nice thin slice, and you put this thin slice of potato on the top of the potting mix and leave it overnight. And early next morning, check that little piece of potato, because if there are larvae there, they will have gone straight to it. They love the starch. They absolutely devour it. Basically, fungus gnats love rich, damp potting mixes, and given the right conditions, they can breed up really quickly and complete their life cycle within 3 weeks. A female can actually lay between 100 and 300 eggs, so you might have a perfect breeding ground in here. But there are ways that you can break that life cycle. Their life cycles can be easily interrupted by allowing at least the top 10 to 15 centimetres of potting mix to dry out between watering. Overwatering of indoor plants causes enormous problems. Saturating the soil means that the roots can easily rot, and that gives ideal conditions for these little fungus gnats and the larvae to get in there and really chomp their way through. So keep the water out of the saucer, that's really important, and keep the indoor plants on the dry side. Much better to water irregularly and just let the soil dry out. Apply a soil drench of neem oil to the affected pots at a rate specified on the bottle, and you repeat this once a week for the next 3 weeks. While we may dislike the fungus gnats, there are certain types, particular strains of nematodes. They live in the soil and they munch on these fungus gnats. They really like them. You can buy sachets of the soil nematodes at various nurseries. You use it as a soil drench, and 1 sachet will go a long way to killing a lot of the problems. Bright yellow sticky traps can attract and trap insects as well, but why not use nature to its best? Use some things like the carnivorous plants, like the butterworts, or in this case the drosera or the sundews. They have wonderful sticky leaves that attract and trap insects, and then use them as food. You can even see little gnats on those sticky leaves. So there's nature working away. I know we do go on about the benefits of mulch, but in this case, there's a really effective way to break the cycle of these fungus gnats. And this is using an inorganic mulch that's like a pea gravel or an aquarium stone. Just use it as a mulch around the base of the plant, and that barrier stops the females being able to lay their eggs in the soil and stops the adults being able to emerge. And it's a really effective way of controlling them. While it might be nice to wave your magic wand and say, Natus expelliarmus, to get rid of these little blighters, you can just follow some of those tips and you'll get rid of those freeloaders once and for all.